The great halls of the Galactic Peace Summit were filled with voices, lights, and cameras. Billions of beings from across the galaxy watched from their homeworlds, screens glowing with excitement and hope. Peace was finally close, or so everyone believed. Ambassador Lena Raine walked into the central chamber, wearing Earth's deep blue diplomatic robe. Her steps were calm, confident. She was Earth's finest diplomat, trained in 20 languages and responsible for 3 major peace deals in the past 5 years. Now she stood under the giant dome of the Galactic Council, surrounded by leaders from over 100 alien species. Lena smiled politely and nodded to the council members. Cameras followed her every move. She reached the round table in the center of the chamber and placed Earth's treaty folder in front of her. Across the table, Chancellor Varric of the Serani Alliance leaned back in his seat, smiling too much. His eyes glittered with something hidden, something sharp. But Lena ignored it. She opened the treaty folder, ready to read Earth's terms, and finalize the deal. She froze. The pages were blank. Not a single word. Her heartbeat jumped. Her hands trembled slightly as she turned the pages again. Blank. All blank. Something was terribly wrong. A low alarm beeped through the chamber. Council guards suddenly stepped forward. 6 of them, wearing dark armor and carrying energy weapons. They surrounded Lena. The room grew quiet. The audience watching from across the stars held their breath. Chancellor Varric stood up slowly and pointed at Lena. "Earth has tried to deceive us," he said loudly, his voice echoing in the chamber. "This ambassador brings an empty treaty and insults our trust. This is an act of sabotage." Lena's eyes widened. "No," she said, but the guards grabbed her arms. "This is a mistake," she shouted. "I had the real treaty. Someone switched it." "Silence," Varric roared. "You will be taken for questioning. Earth has shown its true face." Lena struggled, but the guards were strong. She looked around the chamber, hoping someone would speak up, but the other council members just watched. Some looked confused. Others looked satisfied. They had planned this. She had walked into a trap. As the guards dragged her away, Lena stared into the camera lens, her face calm but her eyes full of fire. Earth's message would be clear. Far away, on Earth's moon base Helios 9, a man in a gray uniform stared at a silent screen. His name was Commander Rourke. His job was simple: watch the summit and wait. And then he saw it. Lena arrested. Treaty folder blank. The council's betrayal lived for all to see. Commander Rourke didn't speak. He didn't blink. He simply turned to his control panel and pressed a red button under a glass cover. The button was labeled HFY Protocol. Deep under the moon's surface, hidden engines began to hum. Codes were sent. Satellites realigned. Signals bounced through deep space relays. All across the solar system, silent ships woke from slumber. They had no names, no colors, no flags. They had been waiting for this moment. Back at the Galactic Summit, the Council laughed behind closed doors. "That human was so sure of herself," chuckled Chancellor Varric. "They thought they belonged here." "Let them cry," said another. "Earth is done." They never had real power anyway, just noise and pride. But far above their heads, hidden from view, a transmission left Earth's moon and reached the edge of human space. One message, one voice: initiate Fury Protocol. And with that, the countdown began. Humanity's patience had ended. Now, the galaxy would remember why Earth was once feared, and why they should have never forgotten. In the cold silence of space, something ancient and powerful began to move. Hidden across the solar system, in asteroid belts, deep oceans, frozen moons, and inside dead satellites, machines woke up. They had been sleeping for decades, watching, listening, waiting. Now they had received the signal. Fury Protocol, active. On Earth, the skies remained quiet. Cities looked peaceful. People watched the news in confusion. Some cried for Ambassador Lena. Some were angry. But deep beneath the planet's surface, military bunkers were alive with activity. General Ayla Monroe stood in the Earth Command bunker, surrounded by flashing screens and officers speaking quickly. "We have confirmation," said one officer. "Lena has been arrested. The treaty was switched. The Council betrayed us." General Monroe's face was hard and still. "Deploy the retribution," she said. "Let's give the galaxy a reminder." The room went quiet for a second. Everyone knew what that name meant. Ship name: Retribution. Class: unknown. I controlled. Mission: send a message. Retribution was not like other ships. It had no living crew. It didn't need any. It thought, learned, and acted on its own. Built in secret, its technology was far beyond anything the Council had ever seen. Its design was ancient and beautiful. Dark silver plates, gravity claws, and energy wings that shimmered like a star. It left Earth's outer base in complete silence. No one saw it coming. No one could stop it. At the edge of galactic space, near the Council's border worlds, a pirate base floated above a red gas planet. It was used by smugglers, mercenaries, and bounty hunters, often protected by Council members who looked the other way. Suddenly, the stars blinked. 1 second, the pirate base was quiet. The next, Retribution dropped from hyperspace. No warning, no communication, just action. It scanned the entire base in under 3 seconds. 15 defense systems locked on. Too slow. Retribution fired a single pulse, a dark wave of energy that made no sound. Every weapon, ship, and life form on the base simply stopped, frozen, then turned to dust. No explosion, no fire, just silence. And then, the ship sent a transmission to every major frequency in the galaxy. The message played once, in every known language. "You broke peace. Now face our silence." The Council chamber was in chaos. "This is a threat," shouted one alien leader. "Earth just attacked a border base." "Not just attacked," said another. "They erased it." Council members argued, shouted, and blamed each other. Chancellor Varric stood up, his face pale. "This is exactly why we acted. Earth was building weapons like this in secret. We must act now, before they attack again." "Attack who?" asked an old reptilian leader. "The pirates, the ones you allowed to operate near our borders." Varric growled. "We can't let humans show power like this. If we don't stop them now, they'll think they rule the stars." But the room felt different now. The fear had started to shift. On Mars, inside Command Station Sigma, technicians watched more ships power up. One by one, Earth's hidden fleet activated. Stealth cruisers shaped like shadows, gravity breakers that could bend time around them, drone swarms that traveled in silence, and planetfall ships designed not for war, but for endings. These ships didn't scream. They whispered, and their message was spreading fast. On hundreds of alien worlds, civilians watched the footage of the pirate base's destruction. Many were shocked, but some were not surprised. "They warned the Council," said one alien in a market square. "They asked for peace," said another. Earth always kept to themselves, until now. Some began questioning their leaders. Why did the Council betray the humans? Why silence a peaceful voice? Why attack someone who never started a war? On Earth, General Monroe stood before a giant screen. Retribution had returned to stealth mode. The next phase was ready. She gave the next command. "Send the Shadow Corps." Far away, across star systems, hidden agents received the order. These were Earth's secret eyes. Diplomats, spies, soldiers in disguise. Some were already deep inside Council territory. Their new mission: gather intelligence, find Lena, prepare for precision strikes. No invasions, no planets destroyed. Not yet. Earth wasn't out for chaos. It wanted the truth revealed. and justice delivered. The Council had made one mistake. They thought humanity would respond with anger. Instead, Earth responded with precision, with silence, and with fury carefully controlled. The galaxy had laughed at humans. Now, they were listening very, very carefully. In the dark corners of space, fear spread faster than light. People whispered in crowded stations, on alien news channels, and even in council chambers. Earth had awakened, but no one knew what would happen next. They didn't have to wait long. Inside the Galactic Council prison station orbiting the planet Ryan 7, Ambassador Lena Rain sat in a cold metal cell. Her wrists were locked in energy cuffs. The walls were gray. The air smelled like oil and steel. No lawyer. No trial. No questions. Just silence. She knew the Council wanted her to disappear quietly. But Earth had other plans. A technician at the prison leaned back in his chair, sipping a blue energy drink. His console blinked once, then went black. He muttered. Suddenly, the power cut out. All systems off. No lights, no alarms, just darkness. Then, the emergency lights flickered on, red and slow. Security officers ran down the hallways. Checked the power grid. Someone shouted, "Secure the prisoner." But it was too late. Something had entered the station. From the shadows, 5 figures appeared, tall, fast, and dressed in black armor with no markings. They moved without sound, their steps silent even on metal floors. They were the Shadow Corps, Earth's hidden operatives. One of them reached Lena's cell. With a single device, the lock melted. The cuffs opened. She stood up, stunned. "Ambassador Rain," the leader said. His voice was calm. "We're taking you home." Lena didn't waste time asking questions. She followed. As they moved through the hallways, security guards tried to stop them. They never got the chance. The Shadow Corps didn't kill. They disabled. Fast strikes. No blood. No screams. In less than 4 minutes, they reached the outer airlock. A black stealth ship hovered nearby, completely silent. They boarded and vanished. Back on Earth, General Monroe watched the live feed from the Shadow Corps. "Extraction successful," came the report. Monroe nodded. "Move to Phase 2. Meanwhile, in the capital of the Zarnak Dominion, a council world that had voted to imprison Lena. An explosion rocked the city's military command center. No one was killed, but the defense systems were gone. Every weapon offline, every ship grounded. On the building's main wall, a single message was left behind, burned in clean, bold letters. "We do not forgive. We do not forget. Earth remembers." The Zarnak leaders panicked. Call the Council. Demand protection. But protection never came. The Council was quiet, terrified. Across the galaxy, Earth's Shadow Corps hid 4 more targets. A listening post that had been spying on human colonies, a Council vault holding secret tech stolen from Earth, a factory making illegal weapons for the Council, and a data core with evidence of the Council's betrayal. Each strike was silent, clean, and perfect. No innocent lives lost, only truth revealed, and power taken back. At the next emergency council meeting, leaders shouted across the chamber, "This is war. No, this is revenge. They're targeting our secrets." Chancellor Varek slammed his fist on the table. "We must hit back. Send fleets to Earth. Crush them before it spreads." But for the first time, some council members hesitated. An old insectoid leader buzzed slowly. They could have destroyed cities, but they didn't. A reptilian general hissed, "They strike fast and vanish. We can't stop them." Another added, "Perhaps we should speak with Earth again." Varek growled, "Speak, after they humiliated us." But he saw it in their eyes. Fear, not of war, but of losing control. The Council had ruled through power and fear for centuries. Now someone stronger had entered the room. And they weren't playing by old rules. Inside the stealth ship, Lena sat across from the Shadow Corps leader. She looked out the window as stars passed by. "You could have killed them," she said. "We don't kill unless we must." The agent replied, "Earth's fury isn't about chaos. It's about precision." Lena smiled faintly. "They'll never forget this." "No," the agent said, "and they haven't seen anything yet." As Earth's ships moved into key positions around the galaxy, still hidden, still waiting, one quiet signal was sent back to Moon Base Helios 9. It was short. It said only, "Stage 1 complete. Council expose. Awaiting next orders." General Monroe looked at the signal. Then she turned to her command team. "It's time the galaxy hears the full truth." She opened the secure vault. Inside was a device that could transmit a message to every known civilization at once. A broadcast Earth had saved for the right moment. The moment was now. The galaxy had been watching, waiting, unsure of what Earth's next move would be. Now, they were about to find out. On Earth, in the secure vault beneath Moon Base Helios 9, General Ayla Monroe stood before a giant control panel. A cold blue light lit the room. The device on the table, known as the Truth Broadcast, was ready. It was simple but powerful, just a communication array connected to every major satellite, network, and transmission point across the galaxy. But it wasn't just a message, it was the message. The truth. Monroe's fingers hovered above the console. She looked up at the screen, where a live feed of the galaxy's major systems was displayed. The Coalition, the Dominion, and even smaller factions, all connected. "Are you sure this is the right time?" asked Captain Wren, standing beside her. Monroe didn't answer immediately. She stared at the screen. This was the moment when Earth's fate would change forever. If it worked, they would expose everything. The betrayal, the lies, the manipulation, the Council's dark secret. But there was no going back now. "Do it," she said softly. Back on Council worlds, officials were still scrambling to regain control. The Shadow Corps had erased critical military data and taken key leaders off planet. Communications were broken. The Council's power was slipping. Council members gathered in emergency chambers, the air thick with tension. "We have to strike back. Full force," a Gornian general shouted, his scales glistening in the light. "I agree," said another leader, pounding his fist on the table. "We can't let Earth humiliate us like this." But as the leaders argued, their communication systems suddenly cut out. The screens flickered and then went black. "What's happening?" one council member asked, panic creeping into his voice. Then, a voice filled the entire council chamber, coming through every speaker, every screen, and every transmission point. The voice of General Ayla Monroe. "To the Galactic Council and every citizen across the stars," she began, her voice calm, yet carrying the weight of everything that had come before. "For years, you have made a mistake. You've called Earth primitive. You've called us weak. You thought you could control us. You thought we would stay silent." The council members froze. This was a message they weren't prepared for. The feed continued, switching from General Monroe's face to images of Earth, the beautiful blue planet, the cities, the people. Then it moved to hidden footage, scenes of the Council's secret dealings, their hidden agendas, and their betrayal of humanity. "But you see, the truth is this. You've been manipulating the galaxy, lying to us, lying to everyone. You thought you could erase Earth's history, hide our past, control our future. But now we remember." The images switched again. This time to Earth's hidden fleet, sleek, shadowed ships, invisible to scanners, silently moving through space. "We have always been here, watching, waiting." The broadcast showed the attacks on the pirate base, the prison station, and the Council's secret tech vault. Then, A new image appeared, the destruction of the Zarnak Dominion's command center. And now we're taking back what you stole from us. We are not the weak ones. You are. You thought you could break us. Now you'll see what happens when we fight back. The broadcast paused for a moment. The silence in the council chambers was deafening. Then the screen flashed with one final message. This is just the beginning. Earth remembers, and we will not be silenced. The council was in turmoil. Chancellor Varric stood, his eyes wide with shock. He tried to speak, but words failed him. Shut it off! Shut it off! Someone shouted. But it was too late. The broadcast had already spread. It was too far gone. Across the galaxy, the message echoed. On the streets of council worlds, citizens stared at their screens, shocked by what they saw. Some had never believed the rumors, never thought Earth had such power. But now, they had seen it for themselves. Many began to question their leaders. Was the council really protecting them? Had Earth really been so dangerous, or had the council just made it up to control everyone? Even on the worlds loyal to the council, whispers spread. Some were afraid. Others were starting to believe. Back on Earth, General Monroe sat back in her chair, watching the feed as the message spread across the galaxy. It was done. There was no going back now. Is it over? Captain Ryn asked quietly. Monroe shook her head. No, now the galaxy has to decide. And we have to be ready. In the Galactic Council chambers, Varric finally regained control of the screen. But it was too late. The damage was done. He turned to the council members, his voice tight with anger. This is not over. We cannot let Earth continue this rebellion. We will crush them. But doubt was in the air. The fear was growing. And somewhere, far away on the edge of known space, Earth's fleet waited, watching. The galaxy had seen the truth. Now, the war for peace, Earth's peace, had begun. The galaxy was in chaos. Across council worlds, panic spread faster than the truth. Systems once united by the Galactic Council were now questioning everything. The broadcast had cracked the very foundation of the Council's power. In every corner of the galaxy, from the peaceful worlds of the Turith to the industrial planets of the Gorath system, whispers filled the air. Earth had revealed their hand. The truth was out, and now no one could ignore it. On the Council homeworld of Ardenor, leaders scrambled to restore order. Chancellor Varric stood at the front of the council chamber, his fists clenched, his voice tight with fury. Earth has declared war on us. This is an act of aggression. A tall insectoid leader known as Storok buzzed loudly. But they didn't attack. They exposed us. The truth is, we've controlled the galaxy for too long. Earth was always stronger than we believed. And now, he paused. Now we're divided. Varric growled, his sharp eyes narrowing. Weakness is not an option. We will crush them. The fleet is ready. But Storok didn't look convinced. You may crush them, Chancellor, but can we control the galaxy if they are not the only threat? Earth's message reached too far. We cannot ignore this. A murmur spread through the chamber. For the first time, many of the council members began to question the foundation of their power. They feared what would happen next. Some saw Earth as a rising force, dangerous and unpredictable. Others saw an opportunity to finally break free from the council's grip. Back on Earth, General Monroe stood in a command room, watching the feeds from across the galaxy. The broadcast had shaken the galaxy to its core, but what followed was even more unexpected. New alliances were forming. Some systems that had once sided with the Council were now sending secret transmissions, asking for Earth's help. Others openly rebelled, choosing to fight back against the Council's control. General, Captain Ryn said, stepping into the room. The war is beginning. We've got ships moving from every corner of the galaxy. Some are with us. Some are against us. Monroe nodded. We didn't expect the galaxy to unite behind us. But we have no choice now. We either stand together or fall apart. On a distant world in the Velcor system, a rebel leader named Sarah Dorian stood before a large holographic map of the galaxy. Her people had once been loyal to the Council, but after the broadcast, everything had changed. The lies were exposed, and now she had to decide. She looked at her team of advisors. Do we fight for freedom, or do we wait for Earth's call? She clenched her fist, staring at the screen. We fight. The Council has abused us long enough. If Earth is leading this charge, we stand with them. Her advisors nodded, and Sarah made the decision that would change everything. The Velcor system was now in open rebellion. In a nearby star system, the Turith, a peaceful race of intellectuals and diplomats, debated the consequences of Earth's broadcast. While they had no love for the Council, they also feared the instability that would follow. Their way of life had always been about balance and diplomacy. Turith leader Ariana stood before the assembly. We are not warriors, but if the Council falls, what will fill the power vacuum? We must consider the long-term effects of this rebellion. Earth may be the hammer, but who will be the anvil? Another leader, Gahor, stood up. We cannot remain neutral. Earth has shown us that silence is no longer an option. The Council's lies have gone on too long. Ariana hesitated but finally nodded. Then we will not stand alone. We will stand with Earth, for now. But not all systems were eager to join Earth's cause. In the Zarnak Dominion, the leaders responded with swift retaliation. Warships were launched toward Earth's colonies. The message was clear. If Earth wanted to fight, the Zarnak would give them a war they would never forget. Zarnak General Torker stood in front of a large battle map. We will strike now. Show Earth and the galaxy what happens when you try to defy us. He turned to his officers. Prepare the fleet. We will crush their allies and make an example of Earth. In the meantime, the Shadow Corps continued their covert missions. Every day, more Council assets were targeted. Hidden bases were sabotaged. Secret communications were intercepted. And behind it all, Earth's fleet silently positioned itself for the first true battle. General Monroe knew they couldn't win this war in one strike. It would take time, strategy, and the right allies. We can't do this alone, Monroe said, looking at the tactical map before her. The galaxy is divided, and that's our chance. We'll turn the tide by finding allies where we can. The galaxy was now split in two. On one side, the Council and its loyal forces determined to crush Earth's rebellion. On the other, a growing coalition of systems, led by Earth, pushing back against the tyranny of the Council. General Monroe stood on the bridge of the Resolute, Earth's flagship, gazing out at the stars. This isn't just about Earth anymore. It's about every system, every people who've been oppressed. This is the fight for freedom. She turned to her crew. The galaxy may be divided, but we will unite it, one system at a time. As Earth's fleet gathered, tensions rose across the stars. The rebellion had only just begun, and its outcome was uncertain. But one thing was clear. The galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy was on the brink of war. Earth's fleet, once hidden in the shadows, now stood ready for battle. The broadcast had made it clear. The galaxy was divided, and now it was time to fight. On the flagship Resolute, General Ayla Monroe looked out at the vast emptiness of space. Her eyes were steely, focused. They had won the support of many, but not enough. The Council still had powerful forces, and one of their most deadly fleets, led by the Zarnak Dominion, was closing in. We can't wait any longer, Captain Rin said, his voice steady as he approached the general. The Zarnak fleet is nearly in range. We have to strike first, or we risk losing the advantage. Monroe nodded, her expression hard. I know. But remember, this is just the first battle. We don't need to win it all today, but we can't let the Council see us weak. Rin looked at her with respect. We'll do what we can, General. Out in deep space, the enemy fleet was massive. Hundreds of Zarnak warships, their hulls dark and menacing against the stars. They moved in perfect formation, prepared to crush Earth's defenses before they had a chance to respond. At the front of the fleet, General Torker stood, his 6 arms crossed. The Zarnak were a brutal and efficient species, known for their overwhelming power. But Torker was worried. The Earth's fleet had remained hidden for too long. No one knew the full extent of their capabilities. "Prepare for battle," Torker ordered, his voice sharp. "Earth will pay for their defiance." On Earth's side, the fleet was composed of ships that were smaller but much faster, designed for quick strikes and evasions. The Resolute was the heart of their fleet, and it would lead the charge. Monroe's voice came over the comms, calm but commanding. "All ships, get into position. We'll use speed and surprise to take down their strongest ships first. Do not engage unless you are certain of your target." The battle began. Earth's fleet launched forward, moving faster than the Zarnak could react. The first strike came from the Harbinger, a nimble destroyer that fired its powerful laser cannons at the lead Zarnak warship. The blast hit with a massive explosion, and the ship shook, but it wasn't enough to stop the Zarnak. The Zarnak responded with a volley of missiles, and the battle was on. "Incoming," Wren shouted from the bridge of the Resolute. Monroe's hands flew across the console, ordering evasive maneuvers. The ship swerved, narrowly avoiding a barrage of missiles that exploded against the shields with a deafening thud. "We can't keep dodging forever," Monroe said through gritted teeth. "We need to hit them hard." "Target their engines," Captain Wren suggested. "If we disable their ships, they can't chase us." Monroe nodded. "All ships, target the Zarnak engines. We can't win with firepower alone. We need them to stop moving." The Earth fleet split into smaller groups, using their superior agility to outmaneuver the larger Zarnak ships. The smaller Earth ships struck quickly, firing at the Zarnak warship's engines and propulsion systems, disabling them one by one. Torker roared in frustration as his fleet began to fall apart. "Don't let them break our lines. Counterattack. Target their weak spots." But the Earth fleet was too fast. The Resolute itself unleashed its full arsenal, piercing the shields of the largest Zarnak warship. The battle raged on as Earth's ships swooped in and out of battle, leaving behind a trail of disabled enemy ships. In the midst of the chaos, the Harbinger engaged a Zarnak flagship. The battle was fierce, with both ships exchanging fire that lit up the darkness of space. The Harbinger's captain, Commander Ferris, was focused entirely on the enemy. "We need to take that flagship down," Ferris said, his voice tight. "We can't do it alone," one of his officers called out. "It's too strong." "We're Earth's only hope," Ferris snapped. "We strike together. On my mark." At that moment, the Resolute unleashed a devastating energy blast at the flagship's main reactor. The explosion lit up the space around them, sending shockwaves that rattled every ship in the battle. The Zarnak flagship was crippled, and its remaining ships scattered in retreat. The tide of the battle had turned. The Zarnak, once so confident in their power, now found themselves on the defensive. The Earth fleet had shown them that they were not the weak, primitive race the Council had portrayed them as. Earth's strategy of speed, precision, and disabling their enemy's ability to fight had worked. "We did it," Captain Wren said, breathing a sigh of relief. "They're retreating." Monroe allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. "It's a victory, but not the end. The Council will send more forces. We need to be ready for what comes next." Back on the Zarnak command ship, General Torker slammed his fist on the console. "This is far from over. Earth has struck the first blow, but they will regret it." The battle was won, but the war had only just begun. As Earth's fleet began to regroup, preparing for the next wave, General Monroe looked out into the stars. The first major battle was over, but the galaxy was far from quiet. "Prepare for the next phase," she said to her crew. "The Council will retaliate, but now they know what it feels like to be weak." The galaxy was about to be reshaped, and Earth's fury was only just beginning.